If you're somebody who's been considering to switch over sports, even if you've been doing the sport you're currently doing for years, months, whatever, you think that it's something you can go far in, but you're really just not feeling it at the point that you're in or the point that you're at, and you just feel a passion or a purpose towards something else that makes completely no sense, but you want to switch over, then I'm going to do my best to give you my experience and kind of give you some tips based on what happened to me. I was a national level volleyball player from ages 13 to 14. I think it maybe tapped into 15 a little bit. I'm not entirely sure. I started playing when I was 12. I progressed super, super quickly. I was one of the most athletic kids always. I was one of the most technical kids always. I had tons of potential when it came to the sport. And that's me not like bragging or anything. It's just objectively true. I progressed faster than everyone else. I had the unofficial national record for my age group on the fastest serve. So it wasn't official because it wasn't like a sanctioned tournament or whatever. It was like a club tournament or whatever that we were practicing in. But I was a very, very high level very, very quickly. And the reason that I stopped was because of the fact that one, I'm short, but two, I just wasn't feeling the sport anymore and it wasn't something that I was loving doing. That was 3-year journey for me, a sport that I loved more than anything. And the thing is, when I had stopped playing, I was unbelievably depressed the entire time for months, even up to like a year almost. Like, I knew I was going to stop after the season that I was in, like 14 years old. I was 15 when that rolled around. I was like 14 and a half, 15 it rolled around. 15 in like a couple months, I was, and I had stopped. And I knew I was going to stop for months because I knew I wasn't into it. I was very, very tempted to continue because I used to be very ego driven as well. And the more I've lived life and the more I've learned is that ego is genuinely never a good thing when it comes to just like your mental health and your spirituality and all that type of stuff. I'm a Christian and I try and fall within those values. And ego for me is just something that I've gotten rid of and something that I'm not interested in having any bigger of. But I did have an ego. And the thing was, I was the one, I was a reason really why we lost. I was a setter. I had given the wrong guy in that moment when we were 1 point away from losing a really bad ball. Like I had set him up very poorly and he wasn't very good. And ball hit the net. It didn't go over. Whatever. We had lost. We shook hands with the other team. Whatever. We were all depressed. Coach gave us like a pep talk. He told us he was excited to see us next season. Everybody gave me like gifts and things because they knew I was thought about quitting, which was actually very nice. I have it. I have those things somewhere. But long story short, I made the decision to quit. And through that, it was very depressive, and you probably are going to be very depressed during this period. You're going to be constantly thinking while trying this new sport, while doing this new activity, while stopping the sport you're doing for whatever reason, that if I would have just continued, I'd be so good right now in this new sport I suck at and I don't really like it and I thought I would like it more and all this kind of stuff. During those thoughts, you just need to keep pushing. During those thoughts, those things are going to happen. You're going to go through those periods. You just need to keep going. That's the only advice I have for you. Keep going. Remember why you started. Remember why you stopped. The human brain likes remembering good memories. Human brain also remembers like remembering bad memories, but at the same time, it prioritizes the good ones. That's why you see people who are abused in relationships, like women who get violently abused, like by their husband or by their boyfriend or whatever. They constantly go back to them because they have such a dependency on that person because they love so much about that person, and they just go, "Oh, there were just a few problems that he had, and there's an issue." It's the same thing with sports. You think that all of the best moments you have, and I'm having flashbacks of them right now, all of the best moments that you have, all of the nice memories, all of the amazing balls that you've had, and all of the amazing points that you scored or defenses that you've had, whatever. You think back on them and you only think about the good, but you don't remember how sad it made you at times. You don't remember when you lost that game, how just depressed and how badly you wanted to curl up into a ball and bawl your eyes out. I'm saying that as like a masculine, like Christian, like leader type of person. I was it kind of was weird when I played, but I was like half captain, half not. Me and like the four other dudes shared the position. It was kind of strange how our coach had it, but whatever. I've been a leader. I've been the guy who's looked at the Tates and the Hamzas and all that kind of stuff, and I've thought, I want to be like that guy. Now I don't, but it's it's different. Anyways, the point is I'm not somebody who does that. I haven't cried in years. Okay. But I've wanted to because of the sport. And the thing is, when I found out that I was short forever, I stopped growing when I was 12 years old. I am 5'4". I'm very proud to say it because it's a benefit in the sport of calisthenics. I wanted to change. I wanted to go into combat sports and I wanted to start fighting and I wanted to do wrestling and I wanted to box and all that type of stuff. Long story short, I switched from that, but it was a transition that I needed. If you're somebody who's always been super, super adamant about you're going to be a world champion in your sport, you're going to be somebody who goes very far in your sport, like me, then something you need to realize is that you're just going to have to wait because the amount of time it takes to get good at something, you're going to have such a drive right now in your sport. That's not going to come back for a while after you switch because you're going to be depressed, you're going to have anxiety about the switch, you're going to be sad about it. Your drive and your passion for the new sport isn't going to be the same. And if it is, that's absolutely great. But you need to realize that it's going to feel like crap transitioning over. You're going to be staring at the ceiling, literally sat down in the shower, like contemplating life because of the transition. And you just need to deal with it. That's all that it is. You simply need to realize that it's a process that you're going to have to go through. And at the end of the day, all it is time. There's going to be periods where you feel good about it. There's going to be periods where you feel bad about it. There's going to be periods where you feel neutral and you're not really thinking about it. But it's going to take time. It's going to be just purely time. And if I could give you one message, it would be make sure this is what you want to do because it's a big decision to stop sports, especially if you're a younger guy. It's a lot of money for your parents and for yourself and a lot of time commitment. And you've spent months or years or whatever playing the sport that you've been playing. Some people, their entire lives. And you want to switch the sport because it's not something that you enjoy and maybe your parents are forcing you into it or you play like American football and your dad's the coach and he wants to see you go to the NFL and he wants you to live out his dream, whatever. You just need to think for yourself and think, is this something that's really worth it? I keep looking down because I have a picture of myself serving. I was going to make it the thumbnail, but I don't know if I'm going to make it that. Maybe it is. But it's just hard. And I feel for you 100%. Transitioning from volleyball to wrestling to MMA originally, and then I went to boxing, and then I went back to wrestling, and now I'm doing calisthenics as like my full-time thing. That's hard. There's a lot of changes that are going to be made in your brain, and that's completely okay. So, what are some pieces of advice I can give you? Because I've kind of been yapping and I've kind of been giving you like my story. How can I help you? You need to determine one, if this is even something you want to do. You need to put in motivational music, sad music, whatever. Stand in the rain. This is a tip I got from Ian Barsegal. Stand in the rain. Pretend that your life is going to end within the next 5 years. What are you going to be more proud of? What are you going to be more fulfilled with, I should say? Not proud, but fulfilled when you look back on your deathbed 5 years from now and you think, what decision did you make? Are you going to feel happier that you stayed with the sport that you made, or stayed with the sport that you stayed with, that you're doing now? You got to a very high level. Maybe you're playing in some national tournaments. Maybe you're getting colleges asking you to sign up. Maybe you have had coaches come up to you from other clubs and other associations or other teams saying, come play for our team. We'll give you scholarship. There's a better opportunity for you here. These guys who are on your team aren't so good for you. The chemistry isn't there. Our guys, the way that we function, you need to think, what will you be happy with? What would make you more fulfilled? Not for anybody else, not for your parents, not for your teammates, not for your coach. Those people obviously matter, but they're secondary. What is going to be best for you? And that is something you need to think very deeply about. Next thing, is this sport something you're doing for other people or are you doing it for yourself? I made the mistake of learning to box learning to get into combat sports. And I'm thankful I did it, just not in this period of my life, because you don't need it in high school if you can shut your mouth and you're not constantly fighting people. I'm glad I know how to fight. It's a very, very fun thing. Because same thing with volleyball. I went all in, training hours a day, multiple times a week, whatever. Weightlifting all in the same time, training to be an athlete, got to be explosive, all that type of stuff. But are you doing it for other people? I boxed for other people. I wrestled for other people. And the thing is, I felt so much purpose and passion for it. But in the back of my head, I knew that I wasn't doing it because I love the sport. I was doing it because of the people, because I love the people. My teammates were the only reason I wrestled. The only reason I got to such a high level was just because I wanted to do good for them. I felt purpose in that. And that's something that I'm very, very grateful for that I did. But at the same time, I wanted to do calisthenics, and I just delayed some of my progress for that. And I've gotten to a decently high level in calisthenics in the short period of time and all that kind of stuff. But now I'm doing it for myself. Before I wasn't. Now this is a sport that I want to do for the rest of my life. Wrestling wasn't. Fighting wasn't. If you're considering getting into a combat sport or a different sport or whatever because coaches are saying, oh, you'd be good for it. People online are saying, oh, you'll make so much progress. You need to learn how to fight to be a real man. If you want to learn how to fight, that's completely cool. Yes, that is a more traditionally masculine thing. But you're like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Maybe not 19, maybe not that old if you're considering switching sports. But like, you're in your early teens. You get into a street fight, you're dying. You're not physically developed enough to survive. You knowing jujitsu isn't going to stop 6 dudes from stomping on your head, isn't going to stop that grown man from just like pinching you when your skin isn't developed enough to where it's rough. You kind of have like baby skin, and you're just done. You need to determine if it's for you or it's for someone else. And I think that's what I'm going to leave you with. I haven't thought of anything else, but I hope this helped you. You can subscribe. This is my unfiltered channel. I think I'm going to put this on. And yeah, that has been everything. Keep doing the best of doing your best. Trust God. Signing off.